Hi, I'm Emmanuel and welcome to my next playthrough, the Dungeons & Dragons Legend of Drizzt board game. Welcome one and all to my playthrough. I will be doing scenario number 1, which is a solo scenario featuring Drizzt Do'Urden. I don't know how you pronounce it, Drizzt Do'Urden. He's a drow ranger. And the exile from the city of spiders was born with something quite rare in a drow society, a conscience. He's an expert combatant. You can make an additional attack during your hero phase. And then you can use the following power cards: Icing Death, Twinkle, and he gets to select 1 daily power and 2 ranger or drow utility powers. Starting at first level, he has an armor class of 16, 8 hit points, a speed of 7, and a surge value of 4. If ever in the game I have 5 experience points and I roll a 20 on the die, then we get to flip him over for the cost of 5 experience points to the level 2 on this side over here. I'm not going to explain the rules of the game, but I'm just going to go quickly over the sequence of play. On your turn, I'm going to be completing these phases: the hero phase, the exploration phase, and the villain phase. In the hero phase, that's where if you have 0 hit points, you use a healing surge to come back to life. And we perform move, then make an attack, then make a move, or make 2 moves. Remembering that he's an expert combatant and he can make an additional attack during his hero phase. And then for the exploration phase, Then for the exploration phase, if your hero occupies a square adjacent to an unexplored edge being, for example, this edge here, and these 2 edges are unexplored. They have no walls and they're open. That's an unexplored edge. Then you draw a dungeon tile, place it with its triangle next to the unexplored edge, and draw a monster card, placing that monster in the new pile. If we don't end next to an unexplored edge, we go straight to the villain phase. And in the villain phase, if you didn't place a tile during your exploration phase, or if you place the tile with a black triangle, draw an encounter card. And if a villain is in play, activate it, and activate each monster and trap you control in turn in the order that you drew them. So that's the sequence of play. I'm going to be using these so I don't get confused. Let me put these over here. I've put the 8 hit points over here that he starts with, as well as his single healing surge that is recommended by the scenario. And here is the miniature that I'm going to be using. That's the Drizzt miniature. In Adventure 1, I'm going to be using the recommended setup. In these decks of cards over here, they have numbers on their corners, right over here. And they suggest that for the first 4 adventures, you only play with cards from 1 to 100. And cards 101 to 200 will be added to these decks after scenario 4. And they also have over here the recommended starting cards for each character for the first game. I'm going to follow the recommendations in this book. It has been a while. For the setup, it is solo, so we're only going to have the 1 hero. And over here is the start tile. So the first 8 tiles are random tiles. And then the tile that we're looking for is the underground river tile, which will be the 9th tile. When we find the underground river tile, we put the narrow passage / surface hollow tile, and the game is won when Drizzt ends his turn on the 4 spaces, one of these 4 spaces of this surface hollow tile. So without further ado, let's get going. Starting awards, we have 1 healing surge right there, and 1 random item card from the treasure deck. Victory, you win the adventure when your hero escapes to the surface. So let's get going. And here is the treasure deck. I'm going to shuffle it to see what our initial treasure item is. There we go, give it a cut. And our initial treasure item is a flask of oil. Lamp oil makes a powerful impromptu weapon. Instead of attacking, choose one tile away from your hero and attack each monster on that tile. It's a +4 attack and it does 1 damage to each monster on that tile. One-time use, discard after use. These are the powers that are recommended to start the game. So at will powers, these can be used as often as he attacks or wants. So this is an attack card, so this counts as an attack. Twinkle. This elven blade set with a star-cut sapphire magically protects its wielder. Attack one adjacent monster, then place your stance token on this card. Here is Drizzt's stance token. You can remove your stance token from this card when an adjacent monster hits your hero. If you do, reduce the damage from that attack by 1. So this helps absorb 1 damage that the monster might do. His second at will power is this one, Icing Death. Drizzt name this magic scimitar after the white dragon that guarded it. Attack one adjacent monster. If you roll 18 or higher on the die, this attack does +1 damage, and this is a +6 attack, dealing 1 damage. Daily power, this is usable once during this adventure. Lone Drow, an outcast from his own society, Drizzt is used to fighting alone. Move your hero up to his or her speed, then attack one adjacent monster. Finally, he has 2 utility powers. Cloud of Darkness, Drizzt uses his intimate magical gift. Drizzt uses his innate magical gift to blind his foes in supernatural darkness. Use when a monster within 1 tile of your hero would activate. That monster does not activate during this villain phase. If more than 1 monster with the same name is in play, this power affects only the chosen monster. So this stops a monster from activating, which is really, really good. So this one we'll put over here. Again, one-time use. And finally, another one-time use, Dancing Serpent. In battle, Drizzt moves as quickly as his scimitars. Use at the start of your hero phase. Place your stance token on this card. And while your stance token is on this card, whenever you use an attack power, you can move your hero 2 squares before or after the attack. This is handy as well to give flexible movement whenever he does an attack, preventing him to need to use a move action to get close to another enemy, which is as cool as well. The final instruction I need to follow is place your hero on any square of the start tile. So, for argument's sake, I am going to put him right on this corner. He is next to 2 unexplored edges, and he can explore either side. So let's get going with turn 1. We start the hero phase. He's not going to move or attack this turn, and he's just going to stay put. So his hero does occupy a square adjacent to an unexplored edge, and so we're going to draw a dungeon tile. Remember, the first 8 tiles are not the tile we are looking for. So what do we have? Here is a white arrow, narrow passage. That goes over here. Draw a monster card and place a monster on that new tile. Let's go ahead and grab the monster card. The first monster we are encountering will be Stalagmite. Do not place a monster. Discard after playing. Well, we're lucky. Nothing on the first turn. And I did shuffle this, but just in case, you know what? Let me go ahead and shuffle these. I already shuffled the treasure deck. You saw me do that. Put that one down here. Let's do the encounter deck as well. Just so you don't think I'm cooking the decks. There we go. And I will discard that off screen. If you didn't place a tile during your exploration, okay, well, that doesn't apply. If there's a villain, activate him, activate each monster. The first turn is over. So let's go to the second turn. He's going to stay put, and he's going to explore this one right over here. So I'm not going to read these every time. In fact, I'm going to bring them off screen over here. So let's grab the next tile. It has a black square. We don't like black square tiles because they generate events. There we go. The monster for this card will be a Hypnotic Spirit. It's an undead. It has 1 hit point, an armor class of 14, If the hypnotic spirit is within one tile of a hero, it moves to the closest hero's tile and attacks each hero on the tile with a horrifying howl. Otherwise, the closest hero moves 2 tiles closer to the hypnotic spirit. So let's put that one over here. Hypnotic spirit, we got one right over there. We put it on the mushroom right there. Well, this is what the hypnotic spirit looks like. Really cool. Now we drew a card with a black triangle, so we also get an encounter. Here is the encounter. Event, attack, dire Corby flock. Your presence disturbs a nest of vicious bird folk. Attack each hero on your hero's tile. It's a +9 attack, does 2 damage if it hits, 1 damage if it misses. Discard after playing. So let's go ahead and roll our first roll of the die. House rules, if it falls out, doesn't count. And we rolled a 5. 5 plus 9 is 14. And Drizzt's armor class is 16. That is a miss. He still takes 1 damage. So that's 1 damage gone. Now the villains activate. If the hypnotic spirit is within 1 tile of a hero, it moves to the closest hero's tile and attacks each hero on the tile. So it's going to move right next to him on his tile, and he's going to do a +6 attack against Drizzt. 14 plus 6 is 20. That is higher than the 16 that is necessary. Drizzt take another damage. All right, let's do another turn. We'll do a combat this time. So we're going to be using Twinkle. Attack 1 adjacent monster, then place your stance token on this card. You can remove your stance token from this card when an adjacent monster hits you and you take 1 less damage. So this is a +6 attack doing 1 damage. The hypnotic spirit armor class is 14, so let's go and roll the die and see. That one is cocked, the door fell off. I'm gonna get a rubber band. Let me come right back. All right, and I'm back. This time I put a rubber band around it so the door doesn't fly open. Let's see if we hit him. 18 plus 6, that is more than the 14 we need. We do 1 damage to him. Let's put the stance token over here. This monster is gone. The card is removed. It goes to our experience pile. I will put the experience pile off above here. And we get a treasure. What do we get? Fortune, bolster. A few words of encouragement fortify your companion's resolve. Play immediately. Choose 1 hero, and that hero either regains 1 hit point or ends 1 condition. Well, we'll heal 1 hit point. So Drizzt is now back up to 7. That is awesome. So he did his attack. He put his stance over there. We defeated the enemy. So Drizzt can also do a move. So let's move just 1 space over to this space over here and end our turn. Go to the exploration phase. We ended next to an edge, so we get to explore. This is a white tile, so there's only going to be a monster on here. Let's flip over the next monster card. What do we get? We get a water elemental. 2 hit points, 12 armor class. If the water elemental is adjacent to a hero, it attacks that hero with a tidal slam. And if the water elemental is within 1 tile of the hero, it moves to the closest hero's tile and attacks each hero with a surging wave. Otherwise, the water elemental moves 1 die towards the closest hero. The slam and the wave are +8 attacks. The slam does 2 damage, whereas the wave does 1 damage. And he is worth 2 experience points. By the way, the hypnotic spirit is worth 1 experience point. So let's get the water elemental. Really cool. Goes on the mushroom over there. And there is no event, so let's go right into the action. If the water elemental is adjacent to the hero, it is not. If it is within 1 tile, it is. It moves to the closest hero's tile and attacks each hero on that tile with a surging wave. So let's put him right next to Drizzt. And surging wave is a +8 attack. Drizzt has an armor class of 16. And we roll 5 plus 8 is 13. He misses, thankfully for Drizzt. So now it's Drizzt's turn. All right, he is going to do Icing Death. If he rolls an 18 or higher on the die, this is before adding any bonuses, then he will do an extra point of damage. The armor class is 12, so let's see what Drizzt hits with. 7 plus 6 is 13. He does 1 damage on the elemental. There's a 1 damage token on the water elemental. And he still has a movement this round. He chooses not to move. So let's go right to the elemental. We didn't place a tile this turn, so we will have an encounter. So let's go ahead and roll the encounter, or check what the encounter is. We have Curse, the Mark of Lolth. The Spider Queen desires nothing but your death. Your hero is cursed. Place this card on your hero card as a reminder. Each hero with at least 1 curse, including yours, takes 1 damage when this card is played. So let's put the curse card right over here. We can barely see it. He takes 1 damage when the card is played, so that is gone. That is the event, and now the monster activates. And so if the water elemental is adjacent, he is. He does a slam, which is a +8 attack doing 2 damage. 14 plus 8 is enough to hit that 16. He does 2 damage, but wait, when an adjacent monster hits your hero, if you do, reduce the damage by 1 and remove this token. So we're removing the token, put it back over here, and we reduce the damage by 1. He only takes 1 damage. This is intense. All right, it is Drizzt's turn. We're going to do 1 more turn, and then we are going to call it for today, and we'll continue the game in tomorrow's video. So Drizzt will do just an attack. He already has 1 damage, so he's going to do the Twinkle again, where he's going to be covering the Twinkle with the stance token, so it's a +6 attack. He rolls a natural 20. Unfortunately, we don't have 5 experience to level him up, but that's a natural 20. The damage is done. We'll put the token over here for next time. The elemental is killed, and we get a treasure card. And what do we get? We get Brief Rest. You take a moment to catch your breath. Place immediately. Your hero gains 1 hit point. Flip up 1 of your used powers or items. Unfortunately, we have nothing flipped, but we do heal 1 hit point. Now, Drizzt attacked. He still has a move, so he's got a movement of 7, and we can move diagonally across each of the squares. So let's go 1, 2, 3. And finish his move over here. So now we're on the edge, so let's flip a tile. This is a white square, so only a monster goes here. So let's put the tile right over here and see what monster we get on this tile. We get a Goblin Cutter. 12 armor class, 1 hit point. If the Goblin Cutter is within 1 tile of a hero, it moves adjacent to the closest hero and attacks that hero with a crude dagger. Otherwise, the Goblin Cutter moves 1 tile towards the hero with the fewest hit points. It attacks with a +7 attack, does 1 damage, and is worth 1 experience point. Let's put this guy here in our experience pool, and we'll put the Goblin Cutter over here. Let me grab the figure, put it on the mushrooms, and we'll continue the turn with the monster activating. He is within 1 tile of a hero, so he moves adjacent to the closest hero. Let's put him right here. And he attacks. He has a +7 attack. 9 plus 7 is 16. He hits him exactly the armor class that he needs, but we're going to remove the stance token over here, and Drizzt takes no damage. We're going to end it off here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click on my logo to subscribe. Here is a video that might be of interest to you, and here is a playlist of other playthroughs on my channel. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching.